Welcome to the Rise Up podcast, where we explore how to harness the power of language to unlock your true potential. Today, we're diving into the transformative nature of our words, how elevating your language can reshape your identity, inspire action, and create a lasting impact on those around you. Whether you're looking to achieve personal success or empower others, the language you use plays a crucial role. And remember, for those who need it, a PDF transcript of this episode is available for download. Let's get started on this journey of linguistic empowerment. Language, your thought's best friend and worst enemy. Language is like the outfit we dress our thoughts in, but sometimes it feels more like a cage. The words we choose don't just let us share our thoughts, they shape how we think. They build the world we live in, influence our decisions, and steer the direction of our lives. Think about it. Every time you repeat the same phrases, you reinforce certain thought patterns. But here's the thing. If your vocabulary is small or stale, your world stays small and doesn't grow. Language doesn't just reflect your thoughts, it actually designs your life without you even noticing. That's why one of the most powerful ways to change your life is by changing the way you speak. For example, why do we call it a headache when something distant, like our mother-in-law getting sick, stresses us out, but we call it heartache when our own mother falls ill? It's because words connected to emotions show how deeply we feel about our relationships. A headache feels detached, something we can manage logically, while a heartache cuts deeper, pulling on our emotions. The words we use can either leave us feeling distant or pull us closer to our feelings. Head language versus heart language. Let's break this down into two types of language: head language and heart language. Head language is all about ideas, facts, and theories, things you've picked up from books, school, or conversations. It's useful, but it's often missing that emotional punch. Heart language, on the other hand, comes from lived experiences, things you've been through, struggled with, and felt deeply. Sure, head language might make you sound smart, but heart language is what moves people. It's the language of empathy, of having lived through something and coming out the other side. It's the difference between a boring conversation and one that lights up a room. Think about it. You can listen to a speaker who is full of facts and stats, but if they don't speak with feeling, you tune out. But when someone talks from the heart, when they've really been through something, their words hit you differently. That's the power of heart language. Two paper planes, an experiment in experience. Let me give you an example with a simple experiment. Picture two paper planes. The first one is smooth and perfect, with no marks or folds. Basically, it's never faced any struggles. The second one is covered in creases, evidence of all the times it's been folded, crushed, and reopened. Now, which plane do you think will fly farther? The smooth one, untouched by hardship, barely makes it across the room. But the crumpled one, toughened by its imperfections, flies farther than you'd expect. This is what heart language does. It's not perfect, but it's real, grounded, and resilient. When we speak from our experiences, we soar further in life. Change your words. Change your world. Successful people get this. They know that to change their lives, they first have to change the way they talk about their lives. Let me share a personal example. Instead of calling myself a college professor, I started calling myself a knowledge ecologist. It's a small shift, but it completely changed how I see my job and how others view what I do. That's the power of language. A tiny tweak can shift your perspective and change your whole life. Or take the example of a trend analyst. What if we started calling them a mind miner, someone who digs deep into the thoughts and feelings of people? Doesn't that feel more profound, more exciting? Changing one word can turn an ordinary job into something extraordinary, opening the door to new possibilities. Crisis and creativity. The flower of fear. Here's another interesting concept. The phenomenon of Angstblüte, or the flower of fear. In nature, certain trees, like fir trees, bloom more abundantly when they're under stress, almost as if they sense that their time is running out. In a crisis, they put out more flowers than ever before, a final push for survival. This same thing happens to us as people. Think about Beethoven. After he lost his hearing, he created some of his most incredible music. His crisis sparked his creativity. Instead of giving up, he thrived under pressure. The lesson here is huge. when we're hit with challenges, that's not the time to shrink back. It's time to bloom. This is when we need to let our language shine, especially our heart language. Like those trees, we can turn adversity into something beautiful. Changing the way we talk about our struggles can set the stage for our own Angstblüte. Expanding your world with words. Let's zoom out for a second and think about why it's so important to keep refining our language. The philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein said, "The limits of my language are the limits of my world." Every new word you learn opens up a new window to the world. It's not just about better communication, it's about expanding your mind and perspective. If you don't know a word, you're not just missing that word, you're missing the entire world it represents. Learning new words isn't just a tool for talking, it's a tool for living. The more words you know, the bigger your world becomes. Final thoughts. Rethink your language, redesign your life. In the end, if you want to change your life, start by changing the language you use. Start small. The way you describe yourself, your experiences, and even your daily frustrations. Ask yourself, are my words lifting me up or holding me down? Shape your language like a sculptor shapes a block of stone, carving, refining, and polishing until it becomes something powerful. Your life will only rise as high as the words you use. So, choose them wisely. The language you speak in moments of crisis or even in casual conversations will decide your future. Let your words be your wings and watch how far you can fly. How to master the language of success. Now that we've talked about how powerful language is, the next step is figuring out how to master it. How do you use language to create success and shape your life into something truly extraordinary? The truth is, mastering the language of success takes more than just picking the right words. It's about using language to actively shape the way you live, think, and connect with others. Let me share 3 essential principles that will help you master the language of success: reinvention, intentionality, and empathy. 1. Reinvent your language. The first principle is all about reinvention. To reinvent your life, you've got to reinvent your language. If you're stuck in the same old patterns of thinking and speaking, you'll never break out of the same old results. Successful people are great at reinventing their language. They don't settle for the phrases or words they've always used. Instead, they look for fresh ways to talk about old ideas, which gives those ideas new energy. Take the world of branding, for example. There's a big difference between someone calling themselves a salesperson and someone calling themselves a solution provider. Both might be doing similar things, selling a product, but one title makes it sound like they're pushing goods, while the other title makes it sound like they're offering valuable solutions to people's problems. The words we use don't just change how we see ourselves, they change how others see us too. This goes beyond just changing labels. It's about redefining your goals and identity. Think about the words and titles you use to describe your work, your purpose, and yourself. Are they outdated? Are they limiting? Ask yourself, how can I reinvent my language so that it better reflects who I'm becoming, not just who I've been? 2. Speak with intentionality. The second principle is intentionality. To master the language of success, you have to be intentional with your words. Successful language doesn't happen by accident. Every word has a purpose. Think of your words like tools. A carpenter doesn't just grab any tool for the job. They pick the exact one they need. You should do the same with your language. Intentionality starts with knowing what you want. Are the words you're using helping you get closer to your goals? For example, if you're always saying things like, "I'm terrible at this," or "I can't do that," you're reinforcing negative beliefs in your mind, even if you don't realize it. But if you shift to saying things like, "I'm getting better at this," or "I'll figure it out," you're creating a mindset that opens doors to success. This small change, shifting from negative self-talk to constructive self-talk, can make a huge difference. Words like can't or impossible shut doors, while words like yet or learning keep possibilities open. You don't hear successful people focus on what they can't do. They talk about what they're working on, what's possible, and what they're going to achieve. Their language reflects a future full of potential, not a past full of limitations. Number 3. Build bridges with empathy. The third principle is empathy. Language isn't just about talking, it's about connecting. The most successful communicators understand that language is a bridge, not a barrier. It should bring people together, not keep them apart. Mastering the language of success means using your words to connect with others on a deeper level. Speaking with empathy means listening more than you talk and aiming to truly understand where others are coming from. It's not just about being understood yourself. When you speak from a place of empathy, you're using language to lift others up, not just to make your own point. Think about the best leaders you've ever met or heard about. What makes them stand out isn't just their intelligence or skills, it's their ability to connect with people. They use words that resonate, words that speak to people's emotions, fears, and hopes. This is why heart language, or what I call body language, in a previous section is so powerful. When you speak from the heart and with empathy, people don't just hear your words, they feel them. And that's when you can truly inspire others. The language of resilience. Let's dive a little deeper into one of the most important traits for success, resilience. Resilience is what keeps you going when times get tough, and your language plays a big role in how resilient you are. If you remember, we talked about the concept of Angstblüte, or the flower of fear, earlier. In difficult times, the words you choose can either hold you back or give you the strength to push forward. Instead of saying, "I'm overwhelmed," or "this is impossible," resilient people say things like, "This is a challenge, but I'll find a way through it." They speak in a way that allows for growth. They use language that reflects the belief that difficulties are opportunities for improvement, not dead ends. It's not just about having a positive attitude, it's about using your words to create space for solutions. Think about Beethoven. Losing his hearing should have been the end of his musical career, but it wasn't. Why? Because he didn't allow his language to define him as a failure. Instead of saying, "I'm done," he shifted his perspective and said, "This is when my best work will happen." His language gave him the ability to turn a personal crisis into a creative breakthrough. In the same way, the words you use when things go wrong will either limit you or push you forward. Resilient language doesn't ignore challenges, it acknowledges them, but also sees beyond them to new possibilities. This is the language that turns setbacks into comebacks. Your language shapes your legacy. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? The words you use today are shaping the story you'll be remembered by tomorrow. Will your language be full of doubt and hesitation, or will it be filled with action, courage, and vision? The most impactful people in history didn't just leave behind accomplishments, they left behind words that inspired change. Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech still resonates because of the power of his language. Gandhi's commitment to nonviolence wasn't just a strategy, it was expressed through his quiet but powerful words that moved millions. Your words don't have to be famous to make a difference. What matters is that you're intentional about the language you use. Are you speaking words that build up or tear down? Are you inspiring those around you, or are you reinforcing limitations? You have the power to shape not only your legacy, but the legacy of those you touch with your words. The ongoing journey of mastering language. Mastering the language of success is not something you achieve overnight, it's an ongoing journey. Just as life is constantly changing, so must your language. Keep reinventing the way you speak, and stay intentional with the words you choose. Use language as a tool to build empathy, understanding, and resilience, not only for yourself, but for others as well. Next time you're faced with a challenge, ask yourself, what language am I using to describe this situation? Is it helping me overcome, or is it holding me back? Small shifts in how you speak can lead to massive changes in how you live. So, as you go forward, remember, the words you use shape the life you live. Start making small changes today. Replace words of doubt with words of belief. Let your language reflect not just who you are, but who you're becoming. Elevating your language to unlock higher potential. In the last two parts, we explored how language shapes our lives, how reinvention and intentionality can transform our words, and how empathy in communication builds powerful connections. Now let's take it a step further. How do we elevate our language to not only achieve success, but to unlock our highest potential? The language of vision. One of the most critical aspects of success is the ability to envision a future that hasn't yet materialized. This ability is deeply connected to the language of vision. What you say about your future is just as important as what you do today. Successful people don't just react to current circumstances, they use their language to paint a picture of what's to come. Visionary language speaks with certainty. Instead of, I hope to be successful, it's, I'm working toward becoming my best self. This simple shift moves you from a space of mere aspiration to one of intentional action. The role of language in shaping your identity. Language is also the framework through which you build your identity. Who you are is partly defined by the words you use about yourself. If you say, I am someone who gives up, that becomes part of your identity. Conversely, if you say, I rise to challenges, you start reinforcing a self-concept based on resilience. A practical exercise. For 1 week, note every time you say, I am. If it's negative or limiting, change it immediately. This small shift can transform your mindset and ultimately your results. The language of empowerment versus limitation. Successful people use empowering language, which reflects abundance, possibility, and action. Limiting language, on the other hand, reflects scarcity and stagnation. Try this. Replace I can't with how can I, or I'm too busy, with I'm prioritizing my time differently. These small changes create massive shifts in your mindset, moving you from a place of limitation to one of control and possibility. Creating impact through language. Language isn't just about personal success, it's also about impact. Great leaders and thinkers don't just speak to be heard, they speak to inspire and elevate others. When you master the art of language, you become a source of empowerment for others. Think about the people who've influenced you. It wasn't just their advice, it was their words that resonated and stuck with you long after. Ask yourself, what kind of impact do you want your words to have? Bringing it all together, language as a tool for transformation. At the core of everything we've covered is a simple truth. Language is a tool for transformation. It shapes not only your identity, but also your future. By choosing words that reflect vision, empowerment, and empathy, you can create the life you want and inspire others to do the same. In this section, we've compiled 15 commonly used words, phrases, and idioms from the 3 essays we've discussed. Each entry includes its meaning and an example to help English learners understand how to use these terms effectively. Let's enhance your vocabulary together. Reinvention meaning, the process of changing something so much that it appears entirely new. Example, her reinvention as a motivational speaker changed her career path completely. Once again, reinvention meaning, the process of changing something so much that it appears entirely new. Example, her reinvention as a motivational speaker changed her career path completely. Intentionality meaning, the quality of being deliberate or purposeful in actions or language. Example, he approached his goals with intentionality, ensuring every step was calculated. Once again, intentionality meaning, the quality of being deliberate or purposeful in actions or language. Example, he approached his goals with intentionality, ensuring every step was calculated. Empathy meaning, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Example, her empathy towards her friends helped strengthen their relationships. Once again, empathy meaning, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Example, her empathy towards her friends helped strengthen their relationships. Visionary meaning, a person with original ideas about what the future will or could be like. Example, Steve Jobs was a visionary who revolutionized technology with his ideas. Once again, visionary meaning, a person with original ideas about what the future will or could be like. Example, Steve Jobs was a visionary who revolutionized technology with his ideas. Conviction meaning, a firmly held belief or opinion. Example, she spoke with such conviction that everyone in the room felt inspired. Once again, conviction meaning, a firmly held belief or opinion. Example, she spoke with such conviction that everyone in the room felt inspired. Aspiration meaning, a hope or ambition of achieving something. Example, his aspiration to become a doctor motivated him to study hard. Once again, aspiration meaning, a hope or ambition of achieving something. Example, his aspiration to become a doctor motivated him to study hard. Identity meaning the qualities, beliefs, and personality traits that make a person or group unique. Example, her cultural identity is important to her and influences her life choices. Once again, identity meaning the qualities, beliefs, and personality traits that make a person or group unique. Example, her cultural identity is important to her and influences her life choices. Limiting beliefs, meaning thoughts or convictions that constrain a person's potential or behavior. Example, letting go of limiting beliefs can open up new opportunities. Once again, limiting beliefs, meaning thoughts or convictions that constrain a person's potential or behavior. Example, letting go of limiting beliefs can open up new opportunities. Empowerment meaning the process of becoming stronger and more confident in making choices. Example, education is a key factor in the empowerment of women in many societies. Once again, empowerment meaning the process of becoming stronger and more confident in making choices. Example, education is a key factor in the empowerment of women in many societies. Resilience, meaning the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Toughness. Example, her resilience after facing setbacks impressed everyone around her. Once again, resilience, meaning the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Toughness. Example, her resilience after facing setbacks impressed everyone around her. Abundance meaning a very large quantity of something. Example, he approached life with an abundance mindset, always looking for opportunities. Once again, abundance meaning a very large quantity of something. Example, he approached life with an abundance mindset, always looking for opportunities. Framework meaning a basic structure underlying a system or concept. Example, the new framework for the project helped clarify everyone's roles. Once again, framework meaning a basic structure underlying a system or concept. Example, the new framework for the project helped clarify everyone's roles. Transform meaning to make a thorough or dramatic change in form, appearance, or character. Example, the new training program will transform the way employees work. Once again, transform meaning to make a thorough or dramatic change in form, appearance, or character. Example, the new training program will transform the way employees work. Legacy meaning something handed down by a predecessor. Example, her legacy as a philanthropist will inspire future generations. Once again, legacy meaning something handed down by a predecessor. Example, her legacy as a philanthropist will inspire future generations. Impact meaning the strong effect or influence that something has on a situation or person. Example, the organization aims to make a positive impact on the community. Once again, impact meaning the strong effect or influence that something has on a situation or person. Example, the organization aims to make a positive impact on the community. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening episode of the Rise Up podcast. We hope you've gained valuable insights into how your language can be a powerful tool for transformation. As you go about your day, remember to elevate your words, speak with intention, and embrace the potential that lies within you. Don't forget to check out the PDF transcript we've prepared for you, which includes key takeaways from today's discussion. Until next time, keep rising up and let your language lead the way to a brighter future.